when Naomi Bennett's phone vibrated against the mahogany table. She glanced down discreetly, expecting a calendar reminder or a message from her assistant. What she saw instead made her breath catch, though her face remained perfectly composed. "Derek, I want a divorce. I've already talked to a lawyer. You'll be getting the papers soon. Don't make this difficult. It's over. I've moved on and you should too. I'll be staying at my brother's place. Take your time moving out, but I want this done quickly. No drama." Naomi stared at the screen for exactly 3 seconds. Around her, voices debated marketing strategies and budget allocations. Someone asked her opinion about the social media campaign. She responded clearly, her voice steady, while her mind processed the 43 words that were supposed to shatter her world. She took a screenshot, then another. Then she forwarded the message to her personal email with the subject line, "Evidence, date, time stamped." Her hands didn't shake. Her voice didn't crack. She participated in the rest of the meeting with the same focused professionalism she always brought to her work. Only she knew that beneath the surface, her thoughts were moving at lightning speed, not with emotion, but with calculation. This wasn't entirely surprising. For 6 months, Naomi had noticed the signs. Derek coming home later and later, his phone always face down, new cologne, a sudden interest in the gym he'd ignored for years. She'd noticed the distance, the way he no longer asked about her day, the way intimacy had become mechanical and rare. She'd noticed, and she'd quietly started protecting herself, updating her resume, taking on bigger projects at work, making sure her name was on every achievement and recognition. Some part of her had known this was coming. Some part of her had been preparing. The meeting ended at 3:15. Naomi gathered her materials, smiled at her colleagues, and walked back to her office with measured steps. She closed the door, sat at her desk, and read the message again. And again. And again. Derek Bennett. Her husband of 8 years. The man she'd supported through graduate school while working 2 jobs. The man whose business she'd helped fund with her inheritance from her grandmother. The man who'd promised forever on a beach in Hawaii while she wore a dress she'd saved for 9 months to afford. That man had just ended their marriage via text message. Naomi opened her laptop and began typing. She created a new folder, legal documentation. She opened a spreadsheet and started listing every joint asset, every account, every property, every investment. She had always handled their finances because Derek claimed he wasn't good with numbers. She knew exactly what they owned and exactly where every dollar was kept. Her phone buzzed again. She glanced at it, expecting perhaps an apology, a moment of regret, something human. "Derek, did you get my message? I need you to respond so I know you saw it." So clinical. So cold. He wanted confirmation of delivery like she was signing for a package. Naomi's fingers hovered over her keyboard. 1,000 responses ran through her mind. She could beg. She could ask why. She could demand to talk in person. She could cry and plead and ask what she'd done wrong. She could text him paragraphs about their history, their vows, their life together. She typed one word, "Okay." Then she blocked his number on her personal phone, keeping only his contact information on her work device for documented communication. She opened her browser and searched for the top divorce attorneys in the city. She found 3 with excellent reviews and stellar track records. She called the first one. "Harrington and Associates, how may I direct your call? I need to schedule a consultation with Attorney Harrington. It's regarding a divorce. How soon can I see her? We have an opening tomorrow at 9 a.m. if you can make it. I'll be there." Naomi hung up and made 2 more appointments with the other attorneys for later in the week. She would interview all 3 and choose the one who understood what she needed. Not sympathy, but strategy. Not comfort, but victory. She looked at the photo on her desk, her and Derek on their wedding day, both smiling, both so certain about forever. She turned it face down. Then she opened her personal banking app and checked their joint accounts. Nothing unusual yet. But she knew Derek. She knew he'd been planning this. There would be hidden money, secret transfers, things he thought she wouldn't notice. But Naomi noticed everything. She spent the next 2 hours compiling documents. Bank statements going back 5 years. Property deeds. Investment portfolios. The business partnership papers for Derek's consulting firm that she'd helped him establish. Tax returns. Credit card statements. Every receipt for every large purchase they'd made as a couple. Her assistant knocked on the door at 5:30. "Miss Bennett? Do you need anything before I leave?" Naomi looked up and smiled warmly. "No, thank you, Patricia. Have a good evening." "You too. Don't work too late." "I won't." But she did. She worked until 8 p.m. building her case, documenting her life, preparing for war. Because that's what this was. Derek had declared war with that text message. He thought she would crumble. He thought she would beg. He didn't know who he was dealing with. At 8:15, Naomi finally packed up her laptop and her 3 folders of documentation. She walked to her car in the parking garage, slid behind the wheel of the BMW she'd purchased with her own bonus last year, and drove to the home she'd shared with Derek for 6 years. The house was dark. Empty. He'd already taken his things. Naomi walked through each room, turning on lights, checking what was missing. His clothes. His toiletries. His laptop. The expensive watch she'd bought him for their 5th anniversary. The golf clubs. The collection of vintage records he'd spent thousands on. He'd left the furniture. Left the kitchen items. Left the photos on the walls. As if the shell of their life together was enough for her to keep while he took everything that mattered to him. Naomi stood in the kitchen where she'd made 1,000 dinners, hosted dozens of parties, celebrated countless small moments. She felt nothing. No tears. No anger. Just a strange, calm clarity. Her phone buzzed. She checked it, expecting another message from Derek on her work device. It was her best friend Monica. "Girl, you've been quiet today. Everything okay?" Naomi typed back, "Derek wants a divorce. He sent me a text at work." The phone rang immediately. Naomi answered. "He did what?" Monica's voice was sharp with fury. "Send me a divorce text. Very businesslike. Very final. Oh honey, I'm so sorry. I'm coming over right now. Are you?" "I'm fine," Naomi interrupted. "Actually, I'm better than fine. I'm prepared." There was a pause. "What do you mean?" "I mean, I've already hired an attorney, documented all our assets, and started the process of protecting myself. I mean, I'm not falling apart. I'm not begging. I'm not giving him the satisfaction." "Damn," Monica said softly. "You're serious." "Completely. This is the best thing that could have happened to me. I just didn't know it yet." "What did you say to him?" "When he texted." "I said okay." Monica laughed, surprised. "Just okay?" "Just okay. Let him wonder. Let him stew. Let him realize I'm not who he thinks I am." "I've never been more proud of you," Monica said. "But I'm still coming over. You shouldn't be alone tonight." "Actually, I want to be alone. I have work to do." "What kind of work?" "The kind that wins." After Monica hung up, clearly worried but respecting Naomi's wishes, Naomi walked upstairs to the bedroom she'd shared with Derek. She opened the closet where his clothes used to hang. Empty. She opened the drawer where he'd kept his watches and cufflinks. Empty. But in the back of the drawer, behind where his things had been, she found something he'd forgotten. A receipt. From a jewelry store. For an expensive diamond bracelet. Naomi had never received a diamond bracelet from Derek. She took a photo of the receipt and added it to her evidence folder. Then she went to the guest room, made up the bed with fresh sheets, and moved her things there. She would not sleep in the bed she'd shared with him. That life was over. This was a new beginning. As she settled into the guest room bed with her laptop, reviewing documents and making notes for her attorney appointment tomorrow, Naomi felt something she hadn't felt in years. Power. Control. Clarity. Derek had thought he was ending her story. He had no idea he'd just begun it. The law office of Harrington and Associates occupied the 23rd floor of a steel and glass building downtown. Naomi arrived at 8:45 a.m., wearing her best navy suit and carrying a leather portfolio that held 3 months of documentation. She'd barely slept, but her makeup was flawless, her hair perfect, her expression calm. Attorney Rebecca Harrington was 50-something, sharp-eyed, and had a reputation for destroying unprepared opponents in court. She greeted Naomi with a firm handshake and gestured to the chair across from her massive desk. "Tell me what happened," she said simply. Naomi placed her portfolio on the desk. "Yesterday at 2:47 p.m., my husband sent me a text message saying he wants a divorce. I have screenshots, time-stamped and saved to cloud storage. He's already moved out. He's already talked to a lawyer. And I believe he's been planning this for months while hiding assets and having an affair." Rebecca's eyebrow raised slightly. "You believe he's been hiding assets?" "I know he has." Naomi opened her portfolio and slid a stack of documents across the desk. "These are our joint bank statements for the past year. Notice the pattern of small withdrawals from our savings account. 500 here, 1,000 there, always just under the amount that would trigger an alert. Over 12 months, he's moved approximately $37,000. Rebecca examined the statements, her expression shifting from polite interest to genuine engagement. You've documented this? I've documented everything. Naomi produced another stack of papers. Here are credit card statements showing purchases at jewelry stores, expensive restaurants, and hotels on dates when he told me he was traveling for work. I cross-referenced his supposed business trips with his company's actual travel schedule. He wasn't where he said he was at least 9 times in the past 6 months. Do you know who he's having the affair with? I have a strong suspicion. A woman named Tasha Phillips. She works at the same gym Derek joined 8 months ago. I found her social media profiles. She posts photos from the same restaurants Derek charged to our credit cards. Same hotels. Same expensive gifts I never received. Rebecca leaned back in her chair, studying Naomi with new respect. Most people come in here emotional and unprepared. You came in like you're already building a case. That's because I am. I don't want comfort. I don't want sympathy. I want what's legally mine, and I want him to understand he made a massive mistake. What's your goal here? Fair division of assets, which means accounting for the money he hid and the marital funds he spent on his affair. I want the house or the cash equivalent. I want my portion of his business. And I want to walk away knowing he can never do this to another woman the way he did to me. Rebecca smiled. It wasn't a warm smile. It was the smile of a shark spotting blood in the water. I think we're going to work very well together. My retainer is $10,000. I have a cashier's check. Naomi produced it from her portfolio. And I have one question. How fast can we move on this? If you're ready, we can file within 48 hours. I'm ready. They spent the next 2 hours going through every detail of Naomi's marriage, her assets, Derek's business, and the evidence she'd compiled. Rebecca made notes, asked sharp questions, and periodically nodded with approval at Naomi's thoroughness. One more thing, Rebecca said as the consultation wound down. Do you want to try mediation first? Some people prefer to keep things amicable. Naomi thought about the text message. The cold, dismissive tone. The assumption that she would be easy to discard. No. I want him to face the full legal process. I want him to understand there are consequences for treating people like they're disposable. Understood. I'll draft the petition today. We'll include a complete accounting of marital assets, a request for temporary support while the divorce is pending, and documentation of his misconduct with marital funds. He's going to be very surprised. Good. Naomi left the office at noon feeling lighter than she had in months. She'd taken action. She'd hired the best. And she was in control of her own narrative now. Her work phone buzzed. Derek had sent another message. Derek, you only said okay? That's it? We need to talk about this like adults. Call me. Naomi smiled and typed back. All communication should go through my attorney, Rebecca Harrington at Harrington & Associates. Her office will contact yours soon. She could imagine his face when he read that. The confusion. The anger. The realization that she wasn't going to make this easy for him. Her phone rang 30 seconds later. Derek calling. She declined the call and immediately added a note to her evidence file. Attempted contact after being directed to attorney. Time, 12:47 p.m. By the time she got back to her office, Derek had called 4 more times and sent 6 messages, each one more frustrated than the last. Derek, are you serious right now? You hired a lawyer already? Derek, this is ridiculous. We can handle this ourselves. Derek, Naomi, answer your phone. We need to talk. Derek, fine. Be that way. But you're making this harder than it needs to be. Naomi saved screenshots of everything and sent them to Rebecca with a brief email. Subject is attempting continued contact despite being directed to legal counsel. Rebecca responded within minutes. Perfect. Keep documenting. Don't respond. At 2 p.m., Naomi had a meeting with her department head, James Crawford. He was 60, respected, and had always been supportive of her career advancement. Naomi, come in, he said warmly. I wanted to talk to you about the Fitzgerald account. The client specifically requested you lead their rebranding campaign. Naomi felt a surge of satisfaction. The Fitzgerald account was worth $3 million and would put her in line for the senior director position opening up next quarter. I'd be honored. The board is impressed with your work. We're looking at restructuring the marketing department, and your name keeps coming up for the leadership role. How would you feel about taking on more responsibility? I'm ready for it. James nodded. I thought you might be. We'll talk specifics next week, but I wanted you to know you're being considered. Keep doing what you're doing. As Naomi walked back to her office, she felt the pieces of her new life clicking into place. Better job. Better position. better future. All of it hers, built on her own merit, independent of Derek and his betrayal. Her phone buzzed again. This time it was Monica. How did the lawyer meeting go? Perfect. I hired her. We're filing in 2 days. Damn girl. You're really doing this. I really am. How do you feel? Naomi paused, considering the question honestly. How did she feel? Hurt? Yes, somewhere deep down. Angry? Absolutely. But more than anything, she felt determined, focused, strong. I feel free, she typed back. That evening, Naomi went to the house one more time. She needed to start thinking about whether she wanted to keep it or sell it and start fresh. As she walked through the rooms, she tried to feel nostalgic or sad. Instead, she just felt detached. These were rooms where she'd been slowly disappearing, slowly becoming smaller, slowly accepting less than she deserved. She didn't want them anymore. She called a realtor. I may be listing a property soon. Can you come do an evaluation? Of course. When works for you? Tomorrow evening? I'll be there. Naomi hung up and made another call, this one to a luxury apartment building downtown she'd always admired. Do you have any 2-bedroom units available? We have one on the 15th floor. Are you interested in scheduling a viewing? Yes. Tomorrow afternoon. Everything was moving fast, exactly as she wanted it. No time for Derek to maneuver. No time for second thoughts. No time for weakness. Her work phone buzzed. Another message from Derek. Derek, Tasha knows a lawyer. We should all sit down together and work this out reasonably. No need to spend money on attorneys when we can handle it ourselves. Naomi read the message twice. Tasha. So he was openly admitting to the affair now. And he wanted her to sit down with both of them and work it out reasonably. The audacity was almost impressive. She forwarded the message to Rebecca with a note. Husband confirming affair and suggesting joint meeting with mistress and myself. Clear evidence of relationship. Rebecca's response was immediate. Gold. Keep them coming. Naomi smiled and finally typed a response to Derek. I will not be meeting with you or your girlfriend. All communication goes through my attorney. She will be in touch with your lawyer soon. She sent it and then blocked his number on her work phone too. If he wanted to contact her, he could do it through legal channels. She was done being accessible to him. That night, Naomi ordered takeout from her favorite Thai restaurant, poured herself a glass of wine, and sat in the empty house making lists. Things she wanted from the divorce. Things she wanted for her new life. Goals for her career. Plans for her future. Nowhere on any list did Derek's name appear. He'd wanted her to beg, to cry, to fall apart. Instead, she was building an empire. The next morning, Naomi arrived at work an hour early. She had the Fitzgerald presentation to prepare, but first she had other business to handle. She opened her laptop and began a systematic review of every financial document she could access. Joint checking account. She transferred her salary deposits to a new personal account she'd opened yesterday. She left Derek's deposits alone, taking only what was legally hers. Joint savings. She documented the balance and left it untouched. Rebecca had advised her not to drain accounts, but to show a clear record of what existed before the divorce proceedings. Credit cards. She made screenshots of every charge for the past 2 years. The jewelry store purchases. The hotel rooms. The expensive dinners at places they'd never gone together. The gifts she'd never received. One charge caught her attention. A payment to a travel agency for a vacation package to Cancun, booked for 3 weeks from now. 2 tickets. Resort booking for 7 days. Naomi had not been invited to Cancun. She took detailed screenshots, including the confirmation number, and sent everything to Rebecca with a note. Husband has booked vacation with girlfriend using marital funds. Departure date is 3 weeks out. Rebecca responded, perfect timing. We'll make sure he doesn't enjoy that trip. At 9 a.m., Naomi had her viewing appointment at the luxury apartment building. The unit was stunning. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, modern kitchen with high-end appliances, a primary bedroom with an enormous closet, and a second bedroom perfect for a home office. The building had a gym, a rooftop terrace, and 24-hour security. What do you think? The leasing agent asked. I'll take it, Naomi said. How soon can I move in? We can have it ready in 2 weeks with first month, last month, and security deposit. Done. Naomi pulled out her checkbook. Her own checkbook from her own account, filled with her own money that she'd earned. Let's do the paperwork. An hour later, she had a lease agreement and keys to her new life. She drove straight to the house to meet the realtor for the evaluation. The realtor, a professional woman named Candace, Walked through every room, taking measurements and notes. Beautiful home, she said. Great location. With the current market, I'd estimate you could get around 600,000. Naomi and Derek had bought it for 400,000 6 years ago. How fast could it sell? A house like this? 2 weeks, maybe 3. Are you planning to list soon? Very soon. I'm getting divorced. Candace's expression shifted to sympathy. I'm sorry to hear that. Don't be. Best thing that ever happened to me. Back at the office, Naomi dove into work. The Fitzgerald presentation consumed her afternoon, but she was energized rather than tired. Every successful slide, every strong idea, every piece of creative brilliance felt like another brick in the wall she was building between her old life and her new one. At 4 p.m. her phone buzzed. A number she didn't recognize. She answered cautiously. Is this Naomi Bennett? A woman's voice, young and uncertain. Who's calling? This is Tasha. Tasha Phillips. I think you know who I am. Naomi's grip tightened on the phone. I do. Look, I wanted to call because Derek said you're making this divorce really difficult and I thought maybe if we talked woman to woman we could work something out. Naomi felt a cold fury settle over her. Work something out? Yeah, like, Derek said you hired some expensive lawyer and you're asking for all this money in the house and stuff. I just think if we're all adults about this, we don't need to involve lawyers and make it ugly. Let me be very clear, Naomi said, her voice ice. I will not be discussing my marriage, my divorce, or anything else with you. You had an affair with my husband. You helped him spend money that belonged to both of us. You participated in betraying me. I owe you no conversation, no consideration, and no courtesy. But Derek said. I don't care what Derek said. Do not contact me again. Naomi hung up and immediately called Rebecca. The mistress just called me, she said when Rebecca answered. What did she say? Naomi recounted the conversation word for word. Rebecca made a satisfied sound. This keeps getting better. They're panicking. Document the call, note the time, everything she said. This shows coordination between your husband and his affair partner to pressure you into a settlement favorable to them. I'm adding it to the file now. Good. And Naomi? The fact that they're already trying to manipulate you means they know they're in trouble. Keep doing exactly what you're doing. That evening, Naomi worked late again, this time by choice rather than necessity. She was reviewing the financial documents one more time when she noticed something odd. Derek's business, Bennett Consulting, showed regular quarterly payments to a company called Riverside Investments. The payments were significant, $10,000 every 3 months. Naomi searched for Riverside Investments online. Nothing came up. No website. No business registration. No public records. She cross-referenced the payments with Derek's tax returns. Riverside Investments wasn't listed anywhere as a business expense or investment. She dug deeper, checking the bank account the payments came from. It was the business account for Bennett Consulting, the company she'd helped Derek establish, the company that was technically half hers. She sent everything to Rebecca. Found suspicious quarterly payments to a company that doesn't appear to exist. $40,000 per year going somewhere unmarked. Possible hidden assets or unreported income. Rebecca's response came fast. This is exactly what I was hoping to find. I'm bringing in a forensic accountant. Can you get me complete business records for Bennett Consulting? I'm listed as co-owner on the business license. I have access to everything. Get me everything. Bank statements, client lists, invoices, tax documents, partnership agreements. Everything. Naomi spent the next 3 hours compiling business records. As she worked, she discovered more irregularities. Client payments that were deposited but never showed up on quarterly reports. Expenses that seemed inflated or completely fabricated. A pattern of financial manipulation that suggested Derek had been hiding money for a long time. By the time she left the office at 10 p.m., she had compiled a damning portfolio of financial misconduct. She uploaded everything to a secure cloud folder and shared it with Rebecca. Her phone buzzed. Monica, you still at work? Just leaving. Why? Because you need to eat and sleep and remember you're a human being. I'll sleep when the divorce is final. I'm serious, Naomi. Don't let this consume you. Naomi paused, considering her friend's concern. But this wasn't consumption. This was construction. She was building something brick by brick, document by document. She was creating a future where she would never be vulnerable like this again. I'm fine, Monica. Really? I'm better than I've been in years. Okay. But I'm taking you to lunch tomorrow and you're going to eat actual food and talk about something other than legal strategy. Deal? That night, in the guest room of the house she would soon leave behind, Naomi made a final sweep of Derek's old belongings. In the back of his closet, behind some boxes, she found a folder she'd never seen before. Inside were bank statements for an account in Derek's name only, an account she didn't know existed. The balance was $73,000. Naomi photographed every page, added the discovery to her evidence file, and sent everything to Rebecca with a message, "Found hidden bank account. Approximately $73,000. More evidence of asset concealment." Rebecca's response was just 3 words, "We've got him." Naomi smiled and closed the folder. She put it back exactly where she'd found it. Derek would think his secrets were still safe. He would think he'd covered his tracks. He had no idea his entire scheme was documented, photographed, and ready to be presented in court. The next morning, Naomi met Monica for lunch at a small cafe downtown. Monica took one look at her and shook her head. "You look like you're running a military operation." "I am." "How much evidence have you compiled?" "Enough to bury him." Monica sipped her coffee. "I have to ask, are you sure you don't want to try talking to him? Working it out?" "Why would I do that?" "Because you were married for 8 years. Because you built a life together. Because maybe there's still something worth saving." Naomi set down her fork and looked at her friend directly. "He sent me a divorce text at work. He moved out without telling me. He's been having an affair and hiding money for months, maybe longer. He expected me to beg and cry and fall apart. He wanted me to be weak so he could feel powerful. Why would I want to save a relationship with someone who treats me like that?" Monica nodded slowly. "You're right. I just wanted to make sure you'd thought it through. I've thought about nothing else. And every time I think about it, I'm more certain. This is the best thing that could have happened to me. I was slowly disappearing in that marriage. Now I'm finding myself again. Then I'm with you all the way." They finished lunch talking about Naomi's new apartment, her upcoming promotion, and her plans for redecorating her new space. For the first time in days, Naomi felt herself relax. She wasn't just fighting against Derek. She was fighting for herself. And she was going to win. The call came on Tuesday afternoon. "James Crawford's assistant. Mr. Crawford would like to see you in his office at 3 p.m. Naomi checked her appearance in the compact mirror on her desk. Perfect. She'd been expecting this. James was waiting with 2 other executives she recognized from the board, Patricia Wong and Thomas Jefferson. They all smiled as she entered. "Naomi, please sit down," James said. "We wanted to talk to you about the senior marketing director position." Her heart rate increased, but her expression stayed calm. "I'm listening." "The Fitzgerald presentation was exceptional," Patricia said. "They've already approved the campaign and doubled their contract value. That's the kind of performance we need at the leadership level." Thomas nodded. "We've reviewed your record here. 5 years of consistent excellence. Client retention at 97%. Revenue growth of 40% in your accounts. You're exactly what this department needs." James leaned forward. "We'd like to offer you the position. 20% salary increase, full benefits package, corner office, and leadership of a team of 12 people. What do you say?" Naomi let herself smile. "I say yes." They spent the next hour discussing details. Her new salary would be $175,000 per year. She'd have autonomy over her team and her strategies. She'd report directly to the executive board. The position started in 2 weeks. When Naomi left the office, she felt like she was floating. This was real power. Real success. All hers. She called Rebecca immediately. "I just got promoted. Significant salary increase. Congratulations. This affects our filings in a good way. Shows you're financially independent and capable of supporting yourself, which helps our position. How much is the increase?" Naomi told her. "Perfect. We'll include this in our documentation. It strengthens our case that you don't need Derek's support, you just want what's legally yours." That evening, Naomi signed the lease for her new apartment and arranged for movers to come in 10 days. She walked through the house she'd shared with Derek, deciding what to keep and what to leave behind. Most of the furniture could stay. She wanted new things. Clean things. Items that had no memory of him attached. She took the artwork she'd bought before they married. The books that were hers. The kitchen gadgets she actually used. Her grandmother's china. Her personal items. Everything else could stay in the house for Derek to deal with after she sold it. Her work phone buzzed. She'd kept Derek's contact information active just for legal documentation. Another message from him. "Derek, my lawyer says your lawyer is asking for an unreasonable settlement. This is exactly what I said would happen if you hired someone. You're being difficult for no reason. Naomi forwarded the message to Rebecca and typed back to Derek, all communication through attorneys. Derek, this is ridiculous. We're adults. We can talk. No, we can't. And we won't. She blocked the number again and made a note. Additional attempts at direct contact after being told to communicate through legal counsel. The next morning she received an email from Rebecca's office. Petition for divorce filed. Service arranged for tomorrow at Bennett Consulting offices. Forensic accountant has begun review of business records. Naomi felt a surge of satisfaction. Tomorrow, Derek would be served with divorce papers at his office, in front of his colleagues, just as he'd expected her to fall apart at work when he sent that text. The symmetry was perfect. She spent the day working on transition plans for her new position. She'd need to delegate some of her current accounts and start interviewing for her team. The work was engaging and exciting, a reminder that she had a whole life beyond this divorce. At noon, Monica texted, "Lunch? Can't. Working on promotion stuff. Dinner then. 7 p.m. That new Italian place. Non-negotiable. Fine. See you there." Naomi arrived at the restaurant at 7 sharp. Monica was already there, along with 3 other women Naomi recognized. Colleagues from work who'd been supportive during her rise through the company. "What's this?" Naomi asked, surprised. "This is us celebrating you," Monica said. "Your promotion. Your new apartment. Your new life. You've been so focused on the legal stuff, we wanted to remind you that you're winning in every way that matters." They ordered wine and appetizers, and for 2 hours, Naomi let herself relax. They talked about work gossip, future plans, travel dreams, and everything except Derek. It was exactly what she needed. To Naomi, Monica raised her glass. "The strongest woman I know." To Naomi, the others echoed. As they clinked glasses, Naomi felt genuinely happy. Not just relieved or determined or strategic. Actually happy. She had good friends. A great career. A future full of possibilities. Derek's betrayal had hurt, but it had also freed her. The next day at 2:30 p.m., Naomi received a text from Rebecca. Service completed. Subject extremely surprised and upset. Tried to refuse papers. Process server confirmed delivery. Naomi smiled. She could imagine Derek's face. The confusion. The anger. The realization that she was serious and prepared and not going to back down. Her work phone rang 5 minutes later. Derek's lawyer, according to the caller ID. "This is Naomi Bennett." "Ms. Bennett, this is attorney Greg Sampson. I represent Derek Bennett. I know who you are. All communication should go through my attorney. I understand, but I wanted to reach out directly to see if we might avoid expensive litigation by..." "No. Anything you want to say, you can say to Attorney Harrington. Goodbye." She hung up and immediately called Rebecca. "Derek's lawyer just tried to contact me directly. They're already trying to bypass proper channels. That's a good sign for us. It means they're worried." "How worried should they be?" "Very. The forensic accountant found evidence of significant asset concealment. Probably close to $200,000 that Derek has hidden or misreported over the past 3 years. We're building a case for fraud." "Fraud? Financial fraud. Hiding marital assets during a divorce is illegal. He could face serious consequences beyond just losing the money." Naomi felt a cold satisfaction settle over her. Good. That evening she packed boxes in the house, preparing for her move. She was in the garage, sorting through old storage boxes, when she found something that made her pause. A box of her things from college. Old papers. Photos. Mementos from before she'd met Derek. She pulled out a photo of herself at 21, graduating with her business degree. She looked young and confident and full of potential. She'd let Derek dim that light. She'd let his needs and his career and his wants take priority over her own ambitions. She'd made herself smaller to make him feel bigger. Never again. She put the photo in a box marked Keep, and continued sorting. Her phone buzzed. An email from the realtor. "I have 3 interested buyers already. Can we schedule showings for this weekend?" Naomi typed back, "Yes. I'll make sure the house is ready." Everything was moving forward. The divorce. The new job. The new apartment. The sale of the house. All of it happening on her terms, in her time, according to her plans. Derek had thought he was ending her story with that text message. He'd actually just started a much better one. Saturday morning, Naomi cleaned the house until it sparkled. She removed all personal photos, decluttered every surface, and made the space look like a showcase property. 3 showings were scheduled for the afternoon. The first buyers loved it. The second made an offer immediately. By evening, Naomi had 2 competing bids, both above asking price. "This is unusual," Candace the realtor said. "Such fast movement. But I'm not complaining. Do you want to accept either offer? Give them until Monday to submit their best and final. I want the highest possible price." "Smart. I'll let them know." That evening, Naomi sat in her soon-to-be former home and reviewed the divorce petition Rebecca had filed. It was comprehensive and devastating. Petition for dissolution of marriage outlined every asset, every account, every piece of property. It included the house, the cars, Derek's business, investments, retirement accounts, and everything else they'd accumulated during 8 years of marriage. But more importantly, it included something else: evidence of dissipation of marital assets. Rebecca had documented every suspicious expense, every hidden account, every financial irregularity. The jewelry bought for Tasha, the hotels, the vacation package to Cancun, the mysterious payments to Riverside investments that didn't exist, the secret bank account with $73,000. The forensic accountant had added their findings: evidence of Derek systematically moving money out of marital accounts and into places Naomi couldn't access. Evidence of business income that was never reported on tax returns. Evidence of financial misconduct that went back at least 3 years. The petition demanded equal division of all marital assets, reimbursement for the money Derek had dissipated, her share of Bennett Consulting based on its true value, not the underreported one, immediate freezing of all accounts to prevent further asset concealment, compensation for Derek's fraudulent conduct. It was beautiful, thorough, unassailable. Monday morning, Naomi accepted the highest offer on the house, $625,000, $30,000 above asking. Cash sale, close in 45 days. She signed the paperwork and felt another piece of her old life fall away. At work, she spent her first official day as senior marketing director. Her new office had windows overlooking the city. Her new team gathered for an introductory meeting, and she could see the respect in their eyes. She'd earned this position through merit and excellence, and they knew it. At 11 a.m. her work phone buzzed. Rebecca calling. "We got a response from Derek's attorney," Rebecca said. "And?" "He's denying everything. Claims the hidden accounts were for business purposes. Claims the expenses were legitimate. Claims the forensic accountant's findings are inaccurate. He's offering a 50-50 split of documented assets only and refusing to acknowledge any misconduct. So he's lying. Comprehensively. Which is actually good for us. His lawyer is clearly working with incomplete information. Derek hasn't told him about all the evidence we have. What's next? Discovery. We'll depose him under oath. We'll subpoena bank records he can't hide. We'll bring in the forensic accountant to testify. We'll make him either admit the truth or commit perjury. How long will this take? 3 to 6 months normally. But I'm going to push for an expedited schedule given the evidence of ongoing asset concealment. I want to freeze his ability to move any more money. Do it." That afternoon, Naomi received an email from an address she didn't recognize. She almost deleted it as spam before she saw the subject line, "Please read from Tasha." Against her better judgment, she opened it. "Naomi, I know you said not to contact you, but I feel like you need to understand the whole situation. Derek and I didn't mean for this to happen. We fell in love. These things happen sometimes. You told me your marriage was already over and you both knew it. You said you were just staying together for convenience. I never wanted to hurt you. I hope you can find it in your heart to understand that love isn't something we can control. Derek is a good man who deserves to be happy. I think if you really love him, you'll let him go without making this ugly. Please consider what's best for everyone involved." Naomi read the message 3 times. Each time, her anger grew colder and sharper. This woman, this person who'd helped destroy her marriage, was asking for understanding, was claiming Derek was a good man, was suggesting Naomi should just quietly step aside. She forwarded the email to Rebecca with a note. "Mistress attempting to manipulate me into dropping legal action. Please add to evidence of coordination between husband and affair partner." Then she typed a response to Tasha. "Do not contact me again. Every communication from you is being documented and provided to my attorney as evidence. Derek lied to you the same way he lied to me. He's not a good man. He's a liar and a fraud who is about to face the legal consequences of his actions. You chose to believe him. That's your mistake to live with. But you will not manipulate me into making this easier for either of you. Consider this your only warning. Stop contacting me or I will pursue a restraining order. She sent it and immediately blocked the email address. Her phone rang. Monica. Are you okay? Her friend asked. You sound angry. The mistress emailed me asking me to be understanding and let Derek go without making it ugly. You're kidding. I wish I was. What did you say? I told her to stop contacting me or I'd get a restraining order. That's my girl. Don't let them get in your head. I won't. I'm past the point of being manipulated. That evening, Naomi started packing in earnest. She'd scheduled movers for 2 weeks from now and she wanted to be ready. Box after box filled with her belongings. Her clothes. Her books. Her personal items. Everything that was truly hers, separate from Derek, separate from their failed marriage. She found her wedding album in the back of a closet. She opened it, looking at photos of their ceremony. They looked happy, young, full of hope. She remembered that day clearly. The promises they'd made. The future they'd planned. All lies apparently. Or at least, Derek's promises had been lies. She closed the album and put it in a box marked storage. Someday she might want to remember that day. But not now. Now she needed to focus on moving forward. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. This is Derek. I got a new number because you keep blocking me. We need to talk. This divorce is getting out of hand. My lawyer says you're asking for things that are completely unreasonable. I never thought you'd be this vindictive. Naomi took a screenshot, saved it to her evidence folder and blocked the number. Then she sent the screenshot to Rebecca with a note. Husband obtained new number to bypass blocks. Accusing me of being vindictive for asking for legal rights. Rebecca responded, perfect. Shows consciousness of wrongdoing and attempt to harass you into dropping claims. Keep documenting everything. Naomi put her phone away and continued packing. Derek could try to contact her 100 different ways. She would block him every single time. She would document every attempt. She would stay focused on the goal. And the goal was simple: win. 2 weeks later, Naomi moved into her new apartment. The moving truck arrived at 8 a.m. on a Saturday, and by noon her belongings were installed in the bright, clean space that was entirely hers. No memories of Derek. No ghosts of their failed marriage. Just fresh starts and new possibilities. Monica helped her unpack, organizing kitchen items while Naomi set up her bedroom. This place is amazing, Monica said, looking out at the city view. You're starting a whole new life. That's the plan. Have you heard anything from Derek? His lawyer keeps trying to negotiate. Rebecca keeps saying no. He's hemorrhaging money on legal fees while we wait for discovery. Good. Naomi's phone rang. Rebecca. I have news, the attorney said. Derek's business partner, Jonathan Reed, contacted my office. He wants to talk. About what? About Bennett Consulting. Apparently, Derek never told him about the divorce or the forensic investigation. When Jonathan found out, he was furious. He's willing to provide testimony about Derek's business practices. What kind of testimony? The kind that confirms everything we suspected. Unreported income. Fraudulent expenses. Hidden accounts. Jonathan says he's been worried about irregularities for over a year, but Derek always had explanations. Now he realizes Derek was lying. Will he testify in court? He'll do better than that. He's willing to provide complete business records and documentation. He's also considering dissolving his partnership with Derek, which means we'll have access to even more financial information during that process. Naomi felt satisfaction settle over her. Derek's entire life is falling apart. Slowly but surely. His girlfriend is also apparently pressuring him about when they can move in together and when he's going to buy her the engagement ring he promised. He's stressed, broke from legal fees and watching everything crumble. How do you know about the girlfriend? She posted about it on social media. Her account is public. She's complaining about Derek being distracted and stressed, and not making their relationship a priority. My assistant found it. Naomi almost felt sorry for him. Almost. Then she remembered the text message. The cold dismissal. The assumption that she'd be easy to discard. Let me know what else Jonathan provides, she said. Will do. How's the new apartment? Perfect. Like my new life. That evening, after Monica left, Naomi stood at her windows and looked out at the city lights. She was alone but not lonely. Independent but not isolated. She had her career, her friends, her future. She had everything she needed. Her phone buzzed. An email from the house sale attorney. Sale completed. Funds will be transferred to your account within 48 hours. The house was sold. Another tie to Derek severed. Another step toward complete independence. Monday morning, Naomi had her first full team meeting as senior marketing director. 12 people gathered in the conference room, looking to her for leadership and vision. She presented her strategic plan for the department: aggressive client acquisition, innovative campaigns, higher quality standards. "I expect excellence," she told them. "But I also expect collaboration and support. We're a team. We succeed together." They responded with enthusiasm and engagement. By the end of the meeting, she could feel the energy shift. Her leadership was already making a difference. At 3 p.m. her phone rang. Rebecca again. "Derek wants to settle," she said without preamble. "What kind of settlement?" 60-40 split in your favor. Full reimbursement for dissipated assets. His share of the house sale. And he walks away from Bennett Consulting entirely, giving you the option to buy out his share at a significantly reduced price. What's the catch? He wants it done quickly. Before discovery goes any further. Before Jonathan testifies. Before the forensic accountant's full report is entered into evidence. He's scared. Terrified. He knows what we're going to find. He knows he's going to lose everything if this goes to court. So he's trying to cut his losses. What do you recommend? The offer is actually quite good. Better than we might get in court, and it saves you months of litigation stress. But it's your decision. If you want to push forward and make him face everything in court, we can do that. Naomi considered. Part of her wanted to watch Derek squirm in a courtroom. Wanted to see him confronted with every lie, every betrayal, every piece of evidence of his misconduct. But another part of her just wanted to be done. Wanted to move on. Wanted to focus on building her new life instead of destroying his old one. "Counteroffer," she said. 70-30 split. Full reimbursement. The house money. And I want Bennett Consulting dissolved completely, with fair division of client contracts and remaining assets. I don't want to be tied to his business in any way. Done. I'll send the counter this afternoon. By Wednesday they had an agreement. 70% of marital assets to Naomi. Every penny of the money Derek had hidden or spent on Tasha. The proceeds from the house sale. And complete dissolution of Bennett Consulting, with Naomi receiving financial compensation for her share rather than ongoing business involvement. "Sign here," Rebecca said, sliding the settlement agreement across her desk. Naomi reviewed every page. Every clause. Every number. It was all there. Everything she'd fought for. Everything she deserved. She signed. "Congratulations," Rebecca said. "You just won your divorce. When does it become final?" "Derek has to sign, which his attorney says will happen by Friday. Then we file with the court. Final decree will be issued in about 30 days. And then I'm free. Completely free." Naomi walked out of Rebecca's office feeling lighter than she had in months. It was over. The fighting. The documentation. The stress. All of it over. She'd won. That evening she celebrated with Monica and her work friends. They went to the rooftop bar of her apartment building, ordered champagne and toasted to new beginnings. To Naomi, Monica said, "Who took a divorce text and turned it into a complete life transformation?" To Naomi, they echoed. As the sun set over the city, Naomi felt genuinely at peace. Derek had tried to destroy her. Instead, he'd freed her. She was stronger, richer, more successful, and infinitely happier than she'd been in years. Her phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "This is Derek. I know you won't respond, but I need you to know I'm sorry. I made a terrible mistake. Tasha and I broke up. She was only interested in money I don't have anymore. I see now that you were the best thing that ever happened to me. Is there any chance we could talk? Maybe work on fixing things?" Naomi read the message once. Then she deleted it and blocked the number. There would be no conversation. No reconciliation. No second chance. She'd moved on. And she was never looking back. The divorce decree arrived on a Tuesday afternoon in a plain envelope. Naomi opened it in her new home office, surrounded by unpacked boxes and fresh possibilities. The document was official and final. The marriage between Naomi Bennett and Derek Bennett was dissolved. She felt nothing but relief. The financial settlement had been deposited into her account, $487,000. Her 70% share of their combined assets, plus the money Derek had hidden, plus reimbursement for everything he'd spent on his affair. Combined with her portion of the house sale, she had over $600,000 in liquid assets. Money she'd earned. Money that was legally and rightfully hers. Money that represented a fresh start. Rebecca called that evening. "Have you received the decree?" "Yes. It's done. How do you feel? Free. Completely free. Good. You should feel proud too. You handled this divorce better than anyone I've ever represented. You were strategic, thorough, and never let emotion cloud your judgment. I had a good attorney. You had good instincts. The attorney just helped execute them. After they hung up, Naomi poured herself a glass of wine and sat at her window, looking out at the city. This was her life now. Independent, successful, unburdened. Her phone rang. Monica. I heard the decree came through. How are you? I'm good. Actually good, not just pretending. We're celebrating. Friday night. Big dinner. All your friends. No arguments. Okay. But I'm paying. Absolutely not. This is our treat. You've been through enough. Friday evening, Naomi met 8 friends at an upscale steakhouse. They'd reserved a private room and filled it with laughter, good food, and genuine celebration. These were people who'd supported her through the divorce, who'd believed in her when Derek tried to make her feel small. Speech. Someone called out. Naomi stood surprised. I didn't prepare anything. Just tell us how you feel, Monica encouraged. Naomi looked around the table at the faces of people who'd become her family. 6 months ago, I got a text message that was supposed to break me. My husband wanted a divorce and he thought I'd fall apart. He thought I'd beg. He thought I'd be easy to discard. She paused, gathering her thoughts. Instead, that text became the best thing that ever happened to me. It forced me to see my own strength. It pushed me to fight for myself. It showed me that I'm capable of so much more than I ever believed. She raised her glass. So here's to terrible text messages that lead to beautiful transformations. Here's to finding out you're stronger than you thought. And here's to all of you for being there when I needed you most. They clinked glasses and cheered, and Naomi felt overwhelmed with gratitude. She'd lost a husband, but she'd gained clarity about who her real family was. The next week, Naomi threw herself into work. The Fitzgerald campaign was a massive success, earning media coverage and industry awards. Her team was performing brilliantly under her leadership. She received invitations to speak at marketing conferences and business leadership events. One invitation particularly caught her attention, a women's business summit focused on resilience and entrepreneurship. They wanted her to speak about rebuilding after personal crisis, a case study in professional success. She accepted. The event was in 6 weeks, which gave her time to prepare. She started outlining her speech, thinking about what she wanted to say to women who might be going through similar situations. How do you rebuild when someone tries to destroy you? How do you find strength when you feel broken? As she worked on her presentation, she realized she had more than just a speech. She had a story. A real story about transformation and empowerment that could actually help people. She started writing it all down. Not just for the speech but for herself. A chronicle of everything that had happened, from that first text message to this moment of triumph. It became therapeutic, cathartic, necessary. Her phone buzzed. An email from Jonathan Reed, Derek's former business partner. Ms. Bennett, I wanted to reach out personally to apologize for not seeing what Derek was doing sooner. I dissolved our partnership and have started my own consulting firm. I'd like to offer you a business opportunity if you're interested. I need strategic marketing support and I know you're the best in the field. Would you be open to discussing a contract? Jonathan. Naomi smiled. This was interesting. She responded. Jonathan, thank you for reaching out. I appreciate your integrity in coming forward during the divorce proceedings. I'd be open to discussing a contract. Let's schedule a meeting for next week. Best, Naomi. They met at a coffee shop the following Tuesday. Jonathan was professional, direct, and clearly eager to work with her. I want to be clear, he said. This isn't charity or guilt. I need real marketing help, and you're the best person for the job. My new firm is growing fast and I need someone who can build a brand from the ground up. What's your budget? He named a figure that made her eyebrows raise. I'm serious about this. I want the best. Then let's talk strategy. They spent 2 hours discussing his business, his goals, his competition. By the end, Naomi had a clear vision for what he needed. I'll put together a proposal. If you like it, we can move forward. I'll like it. I've seen your work. That evening, Naomi worked on the proposal in her home office. This could be the beginning of something bigger. She'd been thinking about starting her own consulting business on the side, building something that was entirely hers. Jonathan's contract could be the anchor client that made it possible. She created a comprehensive marketing strategy for his firm, complete with branding guidelines, digital presence recommendations, and a 12-month implementation plan. She priced it fairly but confidently, knowing the value she brought. Jonathan accepted the proposal within 48 hours. Suddenly, Naomi had a side business. Reed Consulting was her first client, but she immediately started thinking about others. What if she built something significant? What if this became more than a side project? She registered a business name, Bennett Strategic Marketing. She created a website. She opened a business bank account. She started putting systems in place. Within 2 weeks, she had 3 clients. Within a month, she had 7. Word spread quickly about her expertise and her results. People wanted to work with her. Her phone rang at 9 p.m. on a Thursday. She almost didn't answer, but something made her pick up. Is this Naomi Bennett? A woman's voice, professional and warm. Yes. Who's calling? My name is Dr. Susan Martinez. I run the Women's Empowerment Foundation here in the city. I heard about your speech at the Business Summit and I wondered if you'd be interested in doing more speaking engagements. We have corporate clients who specifically request speakers with real stories about overcoming adversity. I'm listening. We'd like to represent you as a speaker. We handle booking, logistics, everything. You just show up and share your story. The fees are substantial, usually between $5,000 and $15,000 per event, depending on the client. Naomi's heart raced. That's significant. You have a powerful story. People need to hear it. What do you say? I say let's discuss the details. They talked for an hour. By the end, Naomi had agreed to representation and had 3 speaking engagements already scheduled for the next 2 months. As she hung up, she looked around her office, her home office in her own apartment, filled with her own achievements, and marveled at how far she'd come. 6 months ago, she'd received a text message meant to destroy her. Now she had a promotion, a thriving side business, and a speaking career that was just beginning. Derek had thought he was ending her story. He'd actually given her the beginning of her greatest chapter. 3 months after the divorce was finalized, Naomi stood backstage at the Women's Business Summit, waiting to give her keynote speech. The audience was 800 women from across the country, entrepreneurs, executives, and professionals all looking for inspiration and practical wisdom. She wore a tailored emerald dress that made her feel powerful and confident. Her natural hair was styled in elegant curls. She looked like success felt, polished, purposeful, unstoppable. You're on in 2 minutes, the stage manager said. Naomi took a deep breath. She'd given smaller talks before, but this was her biggest audience yet. She thought about that day 6 months ago, sitting in a conference room reading a divorce text. She thought about the woman she'd been then, hurt, shocked, uncertain. That woman was gone. In her place was someone stronger, wiser, more authentically herself. Please welcome to the stage Naomi Bennett. Applause filled the auditorium as Naomi walked out to the podium. The lights were bright, the crowd expectant. She looked out at 800 faces and felt completely calm. 6 months ago, she began, I received a text message at work. My husband wanted a divorce. He expected me to cry, to beg, to fall apart. Instead, I took a screenshot and started building evidence for what would become the best decision of my life, to fight for myself with everything I had. The audience was silent, listening. I'm not going to tell you that divorce is easy or painless. I'm going to tell you something better, it's survivable. More than that, it can be transformative if you choose to make it so. She spoke for 45 minutes about strategy, self-worth, and the power of refusing to accept less than you deserve. She talked about documentation, preparation, and staying focused on your goals instead of your emotions. She talked about building a new life instead of mourning the old one. The audience responded with standing applause that went on for 2 full minutes. Afterward, dozens of women approached her with questions, stories, and gratitude. One woman in particular caught her attention, a young professional with tears in her eyes. I've been in a marriage where I feel invisible, the woman said quietly. Your speech made me realize I don't have to accept that. Thank you. Naomi squeezed her hand. You deserve to be seen. Remember that. The speaking engagement paid $12,000. Combined with her salary, her consulting business, and her settlement money, Naomi was financially secure in a way she'd never been before. But more importantly, she was emotionally secure, confident. That evening, she had dinner with Monica at their favorite restaurant. You were amazing today, Monica said. I watched the live stream. Those women needed to hear exactly what you said. It felt right. Like I was meant to share this story. Because you were. How many speaking engagements do you have now? 8 scheduled over the next 4 months. Dr. Martinez says the requests keep coming in. Monica raised her wine glass. To my brilliant, successful, inspiring best friend, who took the worst day of her life and turned it into a movement. They clinked glasses and Naomi felt genuine joy. Not the fragile happiness of her marriage, always dependent on Derek's mood or approval. This was solid, earned, unshakable. The next week, Naomi traveled to Miami for her consulting business. She picked up 2 new clients there and needed to meet with them in person. As she walked along the beach after her meetings, she felt free in a way she'd never experienced. Free to travel. Free to build her career. Free to make decisions based solely on what she wanted. No compromises. No considering someone else's needs ahead of her own. Just pure, uncomplicated freedom. Her phone rang. A known number. She almost didn't answer, but something made her pick up. Naomi Bennett? Yes. This is Patricia Chen from Inspire Publishing. We're interested in your story. Have you considered writing a book? Naomi stopped walking. A book? We heard your speech at the Women's Business Summit. Your story has incredible commercial potential. Women dealing with divorce, career challenges, finding themselves after loss. That's a huge market. Would you be interested in discussing a book deal? Yes. Yes, I would. They talked for 30 minutes. Patricia explained the process, the timeline, the potential advance. By the end of the call, Naomi had agreed to write a proposal and sample chapters. A book. Her story in print, helping thousands of women. The idea was both terrifying and exhilarating. She called Monica immediately. You're not going to believe this. Try me. A publisher wants me to write a book about my divorce and rebuilding my life. Monica screamed so loud Naomi had to pull the phone away from her ear. That's amazing. You have to do it. I'm actually going to write a book. Over the next 2 months, Naomi worked on her book proposal every evening after work. She outlined chapters about discovering betrayal, fighting back strategically, rebuilding professionally, and finding yourself again. She wrote about the mistakes she'd made and the lessons she'd learned. The proposal was 50 pages by the time she submitted it. Patricia called 3 days later with an offer, a 2-book deal with a significant advance and strong marketing support. Naomi accepted. Meanwhile, her consulting business continued growing. She now had 15 regular clients and was considering hiring an assistant. Bennett Strategic Marketing was becoming a real company with real revenue and real impact. Her full-time job was also thriving. The marketing department had its best quarter ever under her leadership. The executive board was talking about promoting her to vice president of marketing. Everything was clicking into place. One Saturday afternoon, Naomi was working in a coffee shop when someone approached her table. Naomi Bennett? I thought that was you. She looked up to see a man she vaguely recognized. Tall, well-dressed, with warm brown eyes and an easy smile. I'm sorry, have we met? Jordan Williams. We were on a panel together at the business conference last month. You talked about strategic marketing. I talked about sustainable business practices. Oh, yes, I remember. Your presentation was excellent. Thank you. Mind if I sit? Just for a minute. Naomi gestured to the empty chair. Please. They talked for an hour. Jordan was intelligent, funny, and genuinely interested in her work. He asked about her consulting business, her book, her speaking engagements. He didn't ask about her personal life or her divorce. He just wanted to know about her. I have a question, he said finally. And please feel free to say no. But would you be interested in getting dinner sometime? Not as networking, just as 2 people getting to know each other. Naomi paused. She hadn't thought about dating. Hadn't considered opening herself to that vulnerability again. But looking at Jordan, she felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. Curiosity. Interest. Possibility. I'd like that, she said. They exchanged numbers and made plans for the following Friday. As Naomi walked home that afternoon, she thought about how far she'd traveled. From that conference room 6 months ago to this moment. From devastation to transformation. From survival to thriving. She wasn't the woman Derek had tried to discard. She was someone better. Someone stronger. Someone who knew her own worth and wouldn't settle for less. And she was just getting started. The coffee shop where Naomi met Jordan for their first date was quiet and intimate. He was already there when she arrived, standing when he saw her and pulling out her chair. You look beautiful, he said simply. Thank you. They ordered coffee and talked for 3 hours. Jordan told her about his work in environmental consulting, his passion for sustainable business practices, his family. She told him about her career transformation, her book, her speaking engagements. Neither of them mentioned past relationships. They just focused on who they were now. Can I be honest about something? Jordan said as they prepared to leave. Please. I knew who you were before we met at that conference. I'd heard your speech at the Women's Summit. It was one of the most powerful things I've ever heard. I've been hoping to run into you again ever since. Naomi felt her face warm. Really? Really? You're remarkable, Naomi. Not despite what you've been through, but because of how you've handled it. That takes real strength. They started dating slowly, carefully. Dinners and coffee and long walks through the city. Jordan was patient, respectful, and genuinely interested in her as a person. He didn't try to rush anything. He just enjoyed her company and let things develop naturally. Meanwhile, Naomi's book was progressing. She'd written 6 chapters and sent them to Patricia, who loved them and pushed for more. The working title was The Text That Changed Everything, Rebuilding After Betrayal. Her consulting business continued expanding. She'd hired an assistant named Amber, a recent business school graduate who was sharp and efficient. With Amber handling administrative tasks, Naomi could focus on strategy and client relationships. Bennett's strategic marketing now had 20 clients and was generating 6 figures in annual revenue. It wasn't just a side project anymore. It was a real business with real potential. One Tuesday afternoon, Naomi received an unexpected email. Naomi, this is Derek. I know you blocked my other numbers and emails, but I created a new account because I really need to talk to you. I made a huge mistake. Tasha and I broke up months ago and I've been doing a lot of thinking about my life and my choices. I see now that you were the best thing that ever happened to me. I was stupid and selfish and I threw away something precious. Is there any chance at all, that we could meet for coffee? Just to talk? I'm not asking you to take me back. I just want a chance to apologize in person. Please. Derek. Naomi read the message once. Then she forwarded it to Monica with a note. Look what just landed in my inbox. Monica called immediately. Please tell me you're not considering this. I'm not. Good. Because that man had his chance and he threw it away with a text message. I know. I'm not interested in his apology or his regrets. I'm not interested in him at all. So what are you going to do? Nothing. I'm not going to respond. I'm not going to engage. I'm just going to delete it and move on with my life. That's my girl. Naomi deleted the email and blocked the new address. Derek was her past. Jordan, her book, her business, her career, those were her present and future. That Friday, she gave another speech at a corporate women's leadership event. The audience was 300 professionals, and her talk focused on building resilience through strategic action rather than emotional reaction. Afterward, a woman approached her. Miss Bennett, I'm going through a difficult divorce right now. Your speech gave me hope that I can get through this and come out stronger. Thank you. You absolutely can, Naomi said. Just remember, document everything, protect yourself legally, and never let anyone make you feel small. You're worth fighting for. The woman hugged her, tears streaming down her face. Thank you. Thank you so much. Moments like that made everything worthwhile. Naomi wasn't just surviving, she was helping others survive too. Her phone buzzed. Jordan, dinner tonight? I want to celebrate your speech. Sounds perfect. 7? I'll pick you up. At dinner, Jordan raised his glass in a toast. To Naomi. The strongest, most inspiring woman I've ever met. You barely know me, she said, smiling. I know enough. I know you took the worst thing that ever happened to you and turned it into fuel for becoming your best self. I know you help other people find their strength. I know you're brilliant and kind and absolutely fearless when it matters. That's plenty to admire. Naomi felt something shift in her chest. This man saw her. Really saw her. Not as Derek's ex-wife or as a victim or as a survivor story. As herself. Complete and whole and worthy of respect. Thank you, she said quietly. That means more than you know. They'd been dating for 2 months when Jordan asked if she'd like to meet his family. His parents were having a dinner party and he wanted her there. Are you sure? Naomi asked. Meeting family feels significant. It is significant. You're significant to me. She met his parents, his sister, his brother-in-law. They were warm, welcoming, and genuinely interested in getting to know her. No one asked about her divorce or her past. They just wanted to know about her work, her book, her life. Driving home that night, Jordan took her hand. My mom pulled me aside and said, you're the most impressive woman I've ever brought home. Your mom is sweet. She's also right. He pulled over and turned to face her. Naomi, I need to tell you something. I'm falling in love with you. I know it's early and I know you've been through a lot. I'm not expecting you to say it back or feel the same way yet. I just needed you to know that's where I am. Naomi looked at him, this kind, patient, wonderful man who'd shown her what real respect looked like. She wasn't sure if she loved him yet, but she knew she wanted to. She knew she was opening herself to that possibility in a way she hadn't thought she'd ever be ready for again. "Thank you for telling me," she said. "And thank you for being patient with me while I figure out what I feel. Take all the time you need. I'm not going anywhere." The next week, Naomi finished her manuscript and submitted it to Patricia. The full book was done, 12 chapters chronicling her journey from that devastating text message to this moment of peace and purpose. Patricia called 2 days later. "This is fantastic. Better than I hoped. We're going to fast-track publication. We want this out in 6 months." 6 months? That's quick. That's because it's going to be huge. I'm telling you, Naomi, this book is going to help thousands of women. Maybe tens of thousands. As Naomi hung up, she thought about all those women who might read her story and find the strength to fight for themselves. That possibility made everything she'd been through worthwhile. Her divorce wasn't just a personal tragedy anymore. It was a testimony to the power of choosing yourself, of refusing to be diminished, of building something beautiful from broken pieces. Derek had sent that text thinking it would destroy her. Instead, it had set her free. 1 year after receiving Derek's text message, Naomi stood in a bookstore holding the first copy of her published book. The text that changed everything had a striking cover, a phone screen showing a simple message against a background of city lights and possibilities. The book tour started in 2 weeks. Patricia had scheduled events in 12 cities across the country. Pre-orders were strong. Early reviews were glowing. "How does it feel?" Monica asked, standing beside her. "Surreal. Good. Like proof that I actually survived and thrived." "You did more than survive, girl. You conquered." Naomi's consulting business now employed 3 people. Amber, a marketing specialist named Travis, and a business development coordinator named Simone. Bennett's strategic marketing had 42 clients and was on track to hit 7 figures in annual revenue by next year. Her day job had also evolved. She'd been promoted to vice president of marketing with a salary of $225,000 and a team of 35 people under her leadership. The company was thriving under her strategic vision. But more than the professional success, Naomi had found personal peace. She'd learned to trust her own judgment. She'd learned that being alone was better than being diminished. She'd learned that happiness came from respecting yourself enough to demand respect from others. Her relationship with Jordan had deepened slowly over the past 10 months. He'd proven himself consistently patient, kind, and genuinely interested in her as a complete person. They'd taken a trip to Italy together. They spent weekends exploring the city or just reading quietly in her apartment. He'd never pushed for more than she was ready to give. Last week, he'd asked if she'd like to move in together. She'd said yes. Not because she needed him or because she was afraid of being alone, but because she wanted to share her life with someone who treated her as an equal partner. Someone who celebrated her success instead of feeling threatened by it. Someone who saw her strength and loved her for it. They were looking at apartments this weekend. Something bigger, with space for both of their home offices and room for the life they were building together. The night before her book tour launch, Naomi had dinner with all the people who'd supported her through the past year. Monica, her work friends, Jordan, even Rebecca the attorney who'd fought so skillfully for her rights. "Speech," someone called out, laughing. Naomi stood, glass in hand. "A year ago I thought my life was ending. My husband sent me a text message and I believed I was being discarded, dismissed, destroyed. But what actually happened was liberation. I was freed from a relationship where I'd been making myself smaller. I was freed to discover who I really was and what I was actually capable of." She looked around the table. "Every person here helped me get to where I am now. You believed in me when I was still learning to believe in myself. You supported me when things were hard. You celebrated with me when things got better. I wouldn't be here without you." She raised her glass. "So here's to all of you. And here's to the truth I learned this year. The best revenge isn't destruction. It's building a life so good that you're grateful for the betrayal that forced you to find yourself." Derek thought he was ending my story. He actually just started the best chapter yet. Everyone cheered and clinked glasses. Naomi sat down next to Jordan, who squeezed her hand under the table. "I'm proud of you," he whispered. "Thank you for being part of this." The book tour was exhausting and exhilarating. City after city, Naomi spoke to crowds of women who'd experienced betrayal, divorce, professional setbacks, and personal crises. She signed books for hours after each event, listening to stories and offering encouragement. In Chicago, a woman told her, I read an advance copy and it changed my life. I was about to go back to my ex-husband even though he cheated on me 3 times. Your book made me realize I deserved better. In Denver, a young professional said, I've been making myself small at work to avoid threatening my boyfriend. Your story showed me I need to choose myself first. In Atlanta, a mother of 2 shared, I stayed in a dead marriage for 15 years because I was scared. Your book gave me the courage to file for divorce. I'm terrified, but I'm also hopeful. Each story reminded Naomi why she'd written the book. This wasn't about revenge on Derek. This was about empowering women to fight for themselves, to refuse to settle, to build lives they were proud of. By the time the tour ended 6 weeks later, the text that changed everything had sold over 50,000 copies and was climbing bestseller lists. Patricia was already talking about a second print run and foreign translation deals. Naomi returned home to find Jordan had moved most of his things into their new apartment. It was twice the size of her old place, with huge windows and a view of the park. His books were shelved next to hers. His coffee maker sat beside her tea kettle. Their lives were blending together naturally. "Welcome home," he said, wrapping her in a hug. "It's good to be back. I have something to show you." He led her to the second bedroom, which they designated as shared office space. He'd set up her desk, organized her files, and hung a framed quote on the wall. The quote was from her book. "The best revenge is building a life so good you're grateful for the betrayal that forced you to find yourself." Jordan? She felt tears prick her eyes. "You needed a reminder of how far you've come. Look at everything you've built, Naomi. Look at the woman you've become." She looked around the room. Filing cabinets full of client work. Bookshelves with her published book and research materials. Awards from speaking engagements. Photos from her travels. Evidence of a life well lived and authentically hers. "I did this," she said softly. "I actually built all of this." "You did. And you're just getting started." That night, they cooked dinner together in their new kitchen. Normal, domestic, peaceful. Naomi thought about her old life, the one where she'd walked on eggshells and made herself small. She thought about Derek and his cold text message. She thought about how devastated she'd felt that day in the conference room. If she could go back and talk to that version of herself, she'd say, "This is going to hurt, but it's also going to save you. A year from now, you'll be stronger, richer, more successful, and infinitely happier. You'll have written a book that helps thousands of women. You'll have a business you built from nothing. You'll have genuine love with someone who respects you. The pain is temporary. The transformation is permanent." Her phone buzzed. An email from a literary agent. "Naomi, I represent several networks interested in adapting your story for television. Would you be open to a conversation?" She showed Jordan the email. "Are you going to do it?" he asked. "Maybe. Let me think about it." "Whatever you decide, I'm with you." That simple statement, "I'm with you," meant everything. Support without conditions. Partnership without power struggles. Love without diminishment. Naomi responded to the email, "I'd be interested in discussing possibilities. Let's set up a call next week." As she hit send, she thought about how different her life looked now versus a year ago. Different job. Different home. Different relationship. Different understanding of her own worth and capabilities. Derek had wanted to discard her like she was nothing. Like she was easy to replace and easy to forget. He'd been wrong about everything. She was irreplaceable. Unforgettable. Unstoppable. And the life she'd built without him was better than any life she could have imagined with him. The next morning, Naomi woke up early and went for a run in the park. The sun was rising, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange. She felt strong, capable, at peace. She thought about the women who'd read her book, who'd heard her speeches, who'd found courage in her story. She thought about the business she'd built and the career she'd advanced. She thought about Jordan sleeping peacefully in their apartment, waiting for her to come home. This was her life now. Full of purpose, possibility, and genuine happiness. Derek had sent a text thinking it would destroy her. Instead, it had been the first step toward her greatest transformation. And she wouldn't change a single thing about how it had all unfolded.